Уважаемые дамы и господа,
Dear ladies and gentlemen,
я прежде всего хотел бы, конечно,
first and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude for the opportunity to take the floor at the first World Policy Conference. I would like to start my presentation by complimenting the French on their foresight, contemplating the convening of this forum a year ago, and this forum is in demand right now by life itself. Mr. de Montbrial knew for sure that these October days would coincide with the most acute phase of the international financial crisis. For 2 days here at Le Grand Lac, discussions have been taking place on the most dangerous challenges to the contemporary world. The search is going on for common solutions to these challenges. This hall, which is decorated by Russian birch trees and Savoy elements, reminds us about the interdependence and unity of the world, about the harmony and compatibility of different traditions and cultures in our common European continent. Allow me to share with you my vision of the developments in the world and ways to resolve the problems that exist today. I would like to focus on 3 subjects. We will speak about ways to overcome the economic crisis, we will speak about the situation in the Caucasus, and I would also like to say a couple of words about convening a conference on security. The problems that are discussed here testify to the fact that the world is now going through a very important transitional phase in its evolution. The events that took place in August in the Caucasus confirmed that within the framework of so-called bloc-based approaches, it turned out to be impossible to appease or contain aggressors. And if irresponsible and sometimes unscrupulous actions of the governing regime of a small country, in this case I'm referring to Georgia, are capable of destabilizing the situation around the world, is this not clear testimony to the fact that the system of international security based on unipolarity is inadequate? It is also clear that the so-called economic egoism is also a consequence or a manifestation of the unipolar world. It is also a consequence of the desire to be a large mega-regulator. The hopelessness of such policies for global economic development is obvious. I will speak about this later. But I would like to now focus on the root causes of the conflict potential that has been accumulated. I believe that the causes in today's life should be sought in the events that took place 7 years ago. Back then, due to the desire of the United States of America to reassert its global dominance, a historic chance was missed. A chance to remove ideology from international life and to build a genuinely democratic world order. I would like to remind you that in the aftermath of September 11th, 2001, Russia, like many other countries, without any second thoughts, expressed its solidarity with the Americans. It did so not only to fend off terrorism, this is obvious, but also in order to fully overcome the divisions in the world that had been created by the Cold War. However, following the toppling of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, a series of unilateral actions was launched that were not agreed upon either with the United Nations or even some of the partners of the United States. It suffices to recall the decisions to withdraw from the ABM Treaty and to invade Iraq. As a result, in international affairs, the trend towards disengagement started to grow. This manifested itself in the unilateral declaration of the independence of Kosovo and the effective resuscitation of the policy of containment, which used to be so popular in the last century. Along the perimeter of the borders of the Russian Federation, we can see the full-fledged establishment of military bases in the territories of Czech Republic and Poland. We can see the creation of the third site of the global missile defense system. Of course, this is only a small number of interceptor missiles, but why is this necessary? What are the reasons for this? And why was it not necessary to at least consult the allies in making this decision? It is obvious that none of those European countries are any threat to Russia, but when decisions are made this way, without consultations, including with partners in NATO and the European Union, in essence within Europe, we get the impression that tomorrow we can see the decision to deploy new missile defense systems under the current system of unipolarity in making such decisions. There can be no such guarantees on this count, at least for us, for the Russian Federation. The Warsaw Pact has been dead for 20 years, but unfortunately, for us, NATO enlargement is taking place with some impassioned fervor. There is an active discussion on accession to NATO of Georgia and Ukraine, and the question is posed along the following lines. To accept these countries would mean to take the upper hand over Russia, and not to accept them would be tantamount to capitulation to Russia. But this is a totally different thing. The alliance is moving its military infrastructure to our borders, and it is drawing new dividing lines in Europe, now along our western and southern borders, and it is quite natural that we consider such actions as actions aimed against us. But as soon as we remind that this is objectively against the interest of national security of Russia, it is always followed by some kind of annoyed reaction. But how can we understand it otherwise? Now, I want the rationale of our behavior to be absolutely clear. We are absolutely not interested in any confrontation.